Oh, we're recording. Well, hello, everybody. Hi, Maren.
Hello,
That's
Michelle. I
so
was like,
funny.
should I say something? Are you going to say something? Or when do
I
we
was
start
like in
talking?
a little daydream for a second. I watched the countdown and I'm like, what's going on? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mentorship Mondays with Michelle and Maren, where we talk about all things spiritual, all things, everything happening in the world, which we are going to talk about today. But I am so happy to be with you today, Maren. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I've missed you, right? Did we see each other last week? I can't remember.
No, we didn't. We didn't. And so, just so you
Okay.
guys know, Maren and I meet weekly, but we sometimes we'll be able to get a couple recordings in when we meet because we do have other things going on. And I do miss you when we don't meet weekly. And today we are meeting on the eclipse, and we're meeting early because we both have other commitments going
Things
on
going
this
on.
weekend.
Yes. So I
Yes,
have my
and
morning
so it
voice.
is
I
an
feel
early morning. Yeah, I think we both do. We both do. So
like.
that's probably why coming on camera was just like, oh right, we're starting. It's on a different time, so we're doing things a little bit differently. Eventually, we'll come on and do something live once we,
I know.
you
We
know,
keep
I
talking
keep
about that. We
promising
need
that,
to
but
do
we will do that. We will probably in the new year. We'll do that. Maren and I have all
that.
kinds of little things coming out of our toolboxes and baskets for the new year. So we'll get into all of that later. But so yes, I missed you. I miss you, and I felt that. Oh, I'd be seeing Maren today. How come we're not? Oh, so yes, I did feel it.
It
So how was your weekend? You guys
was
went
good. Okay.
away
Well,
last weekend.
yes.
Yeah,
My brain's waking up now. That's why we missed, was because
yeah,
I went out of town.
yeah, yeah.
Or we
Mhm,
recorded too. Um, It was really good. We went to, well, okay, funny story. We went to my husband's cabin, which is in the middle of the
mhm,
woods. And when I say the middle of the woods, I
mhm.
mean like the middle of the woods, like James Bond would have his like hideout house here. Like it's that
Right,
remote.
right.
Like it's remote.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
And it is really nice. It's really funny. Um, he has like a little retention pond and just for fishing. But my kids were like, water. And so they just took off their clothes and jumped in to go swimming. And um, my oldest was like, oh, I don't have a swimsuit. Is that okay? And I was like, well, I mean, no one's around, sure. you know, no, there's just going to be some, birds seeing you. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, so we had lots of fun, but so remember, I went this summer there and I put like a little protection prayer over the property so that like, it would be clear and clean.
This okay. So this is the same
This is
cabin
the
that you went to
thing.
before, and you told.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
And I remember it was so clear and clean that I was like, oh my gosh, like, has something happened to my abilities? Because there's like no one bugging me. And then the second we drove off the property, I like started feeling, stuff because I put it all around
Yeah.
the property. Well,
Right.
this time I completely forgot to do that and will not do that again. And there were so many spirits, just like, so I
Yeah.
feel them, right? And it's not until I
Yeah.
close my eyes that I see them. Sometimes I'll like
Yeah.
blink and I'll see like a flash of someone, but
Yeah.
I just like, it'll be like a little tap or a little touch or like a buzz or like a zing or
Mm-hmm.
like like muscle twitch, like. But if it's on
Yes.
my right, I know this is my left, I know it's a female. If it's on my right, I know it's a male, and like
Mhm.
vice versa. And like it was just nonstop, like nonstop. And
Mm.
then I would lay down to go to bed and it would just be like whoosh, and I'd see people and I felt like I had to like send so many people to the light. And
Mhm.
um there was even just like weird energy that I felt like I had to clear, and like it was just a mess. And
Mhm.
so anyways, I'm not going to do that again. But where we were sleeping, um, it's a cabin, and so it's like got the pitched roof, and we're like at the top.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so where you put there's like the room we had tons of beds in it because it's so like lots of people can come and stay. And so
Yeah.
one of the beds was like pushed like right up against the pitched roof, And
Mhm.
so my husband was getting ready for bed, and we were on that bed. And so I had like the spot that was furthest from the pitch roof, so like the taller spot.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I was laying there, and he comes out, and he's like, "Oh no, that's my spot. You have like the corner." And I was like, "I don't want that spot." And he's like, "What, are you scared? There's uh there's gonna be a lady that's gonna come out and get you." And I was like, "Oh, already happened." While he was in the shower. While he was in the shower, I was like busy clearing, and then all of a sudden this woman came up to me and like on my leg. Like it was like someone had just grabbed my leg as hard as you can. And I didn't get scared. Like I know
Yeah.
that when that happens, like somebody's panicked and they like there's like more of a
Yeah.
panic in the air, and they're very scared and they need like to be sent to the light. So I'm not
Yeah.
like, oh my God, an evil spirit's
Right.
attacking me. It's like, okay,
Right.
I rushed into action and I start like doing my thing, when that
Yeah.
happens. But it was so funny because he's like, "Oh, some lady's gonna get you." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
That is funny. That is so funny.
But I know, like, yeah, it's so true. It's like I can't be scared anymore. Like
No.
I'm totally,
Yeah.
I'm prepared. But I was sending her to the light, and when I closed my eyes and I pictured her, she was a woman that had the wrap on her head, like a black
Mhm.
wrap on her head,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then I found out later that, um, this war that's going on, we have like no service up there. So it's
Mhm.
very spotty. And we were up there, of course,
Mhm.
right when the war broke out. Um,
Mhm.
but the Palestine women, that's what they wear, is the head wrap. So I
Mhm.
feel like it was a woman from the Palestine war, and I sent her to the light, and um, it's just crazy how you know it's affecting us all the way over here, and that
Mhm.
I know with the Ukraine war, I had people come to me, and now I've got this
Yeah,
war,
you
and I've
did.
got people coming to me,
Yeah.
but I feel like we are so close to this war because of social media, and I feel like it's
Yeah.
something that, and it's so horrendous. It's just something that I feel like we need to talk about um, today because it's so
Yeah. I agree.
present.
I agree. And it is, um, it doesn't surprise me, and did you forget to put that protection on to allow that to happen, to bring that
Oh,
awareness in, right? Because,
good. Yeah.
you know, um, I and I've thought about this a lot over the last few days, even going into some of my meditations and um, really kind of torn up in my heart over it because there's just so much pain and war does nothing. I think any of us watching us and um m- anybody knows that war does not solve anything. Um and there are no sides. There are no
Yeah.
sides. You know, um I don't understand all of the political. I don't understand, like, that's just not my thing. I don't understand all of the history, but I know that there has been unrest in that area of the world for a very long time. And the messages that I did receive in the last few days were really about the fact that we can no longer ignore what's going on in the world. Um, it's not that we haven't known, because there's been atrocities and things happen in that area of the world and other areas for a very long time. But like you were just saying with social media and everything, there's so much that gets put in our face all the time, all the time. And what's come to me in meditation has been that now more than ever, we are going to be more involved and more involved, meaning that it will affect us all in different ways. But we can no longer say it's happening over there. It doesn't affect
Yeah.
us, you know? Um, and that's not in saying that we are unsafe or anything, but truthfully, we're in a time right now where there is a lot of uncertainty in the world. And the way my guides have said it to me is that we've always had that uncertainty. It's like we get comfortable. We get comfortable in a sense of peace. We feel a sense of peace, and then something happens. We're like, oh my God, what's happening? But there's been things brewing under the surface. And of course, with media, and as we've grown with media and been more and more connected with the internet, we're able to visualize, we're able to see things. But the biggest thing is that so many of us, it's easy to disconnect from that and to say, well, it's not me, it's not happening to me. And I just feel so differently about this and about this time. And I think a lot of this, um, well, our world is changing. And is it changing to bring in a better world? Yes. But if we're to, if we're to say, use the metaphor of our spiritual path, because everything that is happening within is the mirror reflection is without. So what's happening on the outside is a reflection of everything that's been going on the inside collectively, right? And so the areas of the world that is having a shaking and a quaking is because there's balance and rebalance needing to happen. So if we look at, like, why did this happen this month? Why in October? Well, we're in Libra season, and Libra energy is about balance.
Hmm.
It's about bringing in balance. And so, really, the theme of this year and going into next year is a lot about truth and balance. And I know many of us want that now because we can feel the injustice. We can see the injustice. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting so many bits of information and bringing it inside, and a lot of us feel that frustration and that anger of how could this be happening? What
Mm-hmm.
next? And that vision or that promise of this new earth and the things that we really want for ourselves, our family, and for the entire collective, it almost feels like it's hard to hold on to when these things happen. Like, could that ever happen? Will we ever get to a world like that? And, Eric just says right now, well, like labor, like birth, it's painful. It's challenging. It's difficult. But a new world is being born. And like the spiritual path, the spiritual awakening, many of us go through a state of euphoria at the beginning of our awakening when everything is so new and we have realizations and we start to say, oh my God, this is not like this and this is like this and I knew it and I felt it and this world is amazing. And then our stuff starts to come up. Eric says, no, our shit starts to come up. He always corrects me.
So,
Um, but,
I was
right?
Oh, I was just talking to my husband about that last night, where he was like, before my awakening, I was looking through my life with this little tiny, like hole, and that's all I could see. And so life was great. Like I had no problems, I was fine. I was blissfully unaware of everything that was happening. And now I've had this awakening and my perspective has shifted to like this big thing. And I'm seeing all these cracks and places where I need to heal. And now my life feels like it's crumbling, Like he's like, oh, there's a crack,
Yeah.
there's a crack. And it's
Yes.
kind of like the same, like the earth is going through this healing process and all these cracks are coming up to be healed.
Yes. Yes.
So when you're talking about balance of power, it could be coming up. Because yeah, you're right. And that's what he's saying. He's like, wait a minute, I thought I had this great awakening, just like we feel like we've got this new earth and everything's supposed to be like amazing. And it's just like chaos. Like, what is it? And
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
these cracks coming up to be healed.
And like our spiritual path. So, um, And it's very normal. A lot of people have experienced this, myself included, where we have that euphoricness of that opening of perspective. And then when everything starts to come up and we see the cracks, the shadows, the healing, oh my God, I just realized I've gone all of these years doing this or believing this, thinking it was this way. And all of those things that come up, and, you know, we start to feel like, wait a minute, can I just go back to being completely unaware? Can I just go back to, I remember having moments in my awakening where I was looking at other people that were not aware and saying, I think I'd just like to go back to being not aware. I think that that would be easier. But of course, in the grand scheme of things, it's not. But we have to go through that. We can't ignore it. So trying to obtain back to this place of euphoria, the reason why we're shown that in the beginning of our awakening is to show us what is available, what we're able to obtain. And it's almost like like a preview
Mhm.
of who we really are, of what we're able to
I
obtain
love
in that
that.
energy. And that drive is often what helps pull us through some of those darker times. But something that can happen is we can start to feel like something's wrong because we feel chaotic, because we feel unbalanced, and all of these things keep coming up. And so we start to say, okay, well, this is just getting harder and harder. Is it ever going to end? And
Yeah.
cycles end. They do. Cycles do end. Now, as we all know, we never stop. We're here on earth, and even past in our transition, we have opportunity to grow and to continue. Um, but the cycles, as we face things, as we look at things, as we choose with awareness, because there's a difference when you make a
Mhm.
choice without awareness. There's a different responsibility. When you have awareness and you make choices with that awareness and you choose to not look at something or to push it down, that thing will become louder and louder and louder and louder until you do.
Mhm.
And sometimes that is very uncomfortable in itself. But anyway, my whole point of saying this is that everything that's happening in the world right now is much like our spiritual awakening, because the world is having a spiritual awakening. Our collective is having a spiritual awakening. The earth is helping to support this. And so if there is something that's hidden, and let me tell you, there's a lot of things in this world that are still hidden, and none of us, it doesn't matter how great a channel anybody is, none of us have that big picture of exactly how everything is coming apart. Um, there may be some things that we can piece together, and that's why it's so great to come together with others to help share. But the truth is that it's a reflection from inside of us, is a reflection of what's happening on the outside. And there have been generations and thousands of years of heaviness and
Mhm.
difficulty that is coming out,
Mhm.
and it comes out
It
in
does.
layers. It does not heal overnight,
Mhm.
you know.
It does feel very, like, karmic, like, when you think, like, what was their purpose of being in this war and having this horrendous atrocity happen to them, or do it or have it be done, and it does feel just so karmic, like they're stuck in, like, a cycle, and it just seems
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
repetitive.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
And this really isn't about sides. Um, it really brings into focus about religion and um, understanding that beliefs, and this is what Eric had said to me the other day, beliefs that people have, and the reason why they believe what they do is so much deeper than just that choice of, this is what I think. Beliefs are connected to generations. Beliefs are connected
Mhm.
to um, m- when we go into religion and family, and there's so many different things. And what I feel with this particular war is there's so much hurt and so much anger and
Mhm.
and and also a sense of well, control, greed, all of those things all thrown into it, and not pointing fingers as to where it's all coming from, but really, oh, I guess I'm trying to really express how the energy feels to me, but really not pointing fingers, but how do we put love into this and into all the pain, like all the pain and suffering and the many mass of children and babies
Mhm.
and women and men and innocent people on both sides
Mhm.
that have lost their lives and are so deeply affected. Like it's so painful to feel that.
Mhm.
And what came to my mind over the past couple days is like, well, what do we do? Like, how do we have this awareness and what do we do? Because, I wake up in the morning and make my coffee and know that this is still happening. And,
Mhm.
here I'm sipping my coffee, and there's a piece of me that quite honestly feels guilt. I feel a
Mhm.
sense of guilt that I'm sipping my coffee and watching the birds,
I
and
know.
thinking about what somebody else is experiencing on the other side of the world.
I
Very
know.
hard.
Every time I think that, I just say to God, thank you so much for my safety from war, my safety from natural disasters, my safety from poverty and famine, my safety from abuse. Like, there's just
Mhm,
so
mhm,
many ways in which I feel safe every day that I'm
mhm.
so grateful for, because there are so many people that don't feel safe, and that's
That's right.
really scary.
Yeah. And what's happening on the other side of the world um, is reflected on this side as well. So like, it's no longer it can't be ignored, and that's the big thing that keeps coming up is it can't be
Mhm.
ignored, it won't be ignored.
Mhm.
It's going to affect all of us in one way or another, but we all do have power within us. So like even you and I, Maren, talking about how we feel about this and how this affects us emotionally, um, and even just people that we know that have family there or are from there, and just that deep sense of just wanting to protect and how can I help you? Well, we
Mhm.
have, I believe, a responsibility, and we have an opportunity to talk about this. We have a
Mhm.
platform to be able to do this and to share, to talk about it, to talk about what we're able to contribute. And I believe that we all have an opportunity to do that in one way or another. We all have an opportunity to be able to contribute, whether it be our voice, our prayers, our love, all of above. We all
Mhm.
have an opportunity. And
Or the choice in our thoughts too.
yes, yes, yes.
I
Something that
feel
Eric, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was going to say something that Eric has said before, and he's not saying this right now, but he had said this to me before. I think this might have been about Ukraine or something at another time, but um, in speaking of thoughts, he said, a lot of because everything is reflected from the inside out. So remember, we've got our
Mhm.
own, it's like on the micro and the macro, we've got our own,
Mhm.
like us and our community and our little collective, and then this great big collective, but everything is connected. There's nothing
Mhm.
that is not connected. And so as we speak about things, how are we speaking about it? It doesn't mean that we can't speak about what's happening, the realisticness of what's happening, but how are we speaking that into our future? How are we, like, is the words that we're saying? So if we are talking about how horrific it is, or you know are the words that we're saying or the beliefs that we have of this will never get better, or this is so terrible, is that helping in any way? So is that adding to the situation? Is that giving anything? You have to really remember that. And that takes a lot of mindfulness. And, even right now, I'm just thinking about how important it is to take all of these opportunities that we have with what's going on in the world and to learn from it and to say, okay, well, I may not be in that situation right now, but where in my life am I at war? Where in my life am I contributing to that energy?
So that is where I feel like, we can contribute to this by being control of our thoughts. And I feel like a lot of times, just kind of like with our perspective, when we have this small lens, we could say, like, well, that's the good guy, that's the bad guy, he's right, she's wrong, and you have these kind of like black and white things. But when you do broaden your lens and all these cracks come up, you start to see, well, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And you see how everything kind of manifested, in this not etheric, but metaphysical thought way, and then it has physically manifested, and so like I even think about like my little kids, and like someone's, it's someone's picked on someone, picked on someone, picked on someone, picked on someone, and then one person hits and they get in trouble. Are they the bad kid or the good kid or but like when you think of the bigger picture and you think about everybody as whole beings,
Yes.
then your perspective broadens, and no one's right, no one's wrong. We're just beings. And how do we help? And how do we lift that? How do we widen everyone's lens so that hopefully we can let in light and
Mm.
love and move forward? So I
And
don't,
a way to do that, and something that is a great practice, that there's times where if I feel very overwhelmed, or if I feel like there's something in my life that is out of control in some way, or I have no control over it, and I really slow down my thought to my reactions, and I say to myself, okay, if I've got two things in my mind, one may be peace, one may be love, are the words that I'm speaking bringing me closer to love or further away? Are the thoughts that I have bringing me closer to peace or further away from peace? Are the actions that I'm taking? And the thing is this doesn't have to be something big or anything. It's like it could be somebody cut me off in traffic and flipped me off and, yelled something out at me. And would my reactions, would slamming on my horn and screaming something back at them, would that bring me closer to peace? Because it's not about what I'm shooting out to them, because what I do is what's me. That's what I'm doing for
Mhm,
me. And that's what's connected to everything else. So am I giving more into the energy of anger, frustration, of hurt, or am I going to add to love? And if that person that flipped me off is not in a place to accept love, it doesn't mean that I need to like say, okay, stop, 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 get out of your car. I want to give you a hug. Okay. It's not that. It's the peace in that moment is the bigger picture. That person's frustrated. That person's having a bad day. I don't like what that person did, but I'm going to stay in my own lane, and I'm going to
mhm.
put love on myself. I'm going to choose love for myself, because that is the
Yeah,
most loving thing that I can do right now. I'm going to
yeah,
neutralize that moment. And so
yeah,
that's just a small example, and that could be in anything. Is my spouse arguing, or is my spouse said something to me that really hurts me? Well, is the
yep.
most loving thing in that moment to go for a walk? Maybe I need to go for a walk and go around the block so I can think about what I want to say, or
I
what's the
even do
best thing.
that. I even do that with like, I'll say, you can kind of like figure out where they're coming from, and then
Yes.
it like neutralizes it too. Like, oh, he's coming from a place of fear in his mind about that. Okay, like, and
Hmm.
I don't know, somehow, like, oh, he's really upset about, I don't know, whatever. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's just, he's just from a place of fear right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Like, and it'll kind of like,
Hmm.
rather than be like, I can't believe that he thinks blah, 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 blah,
Yeah. And
So,
communication, right? But if we think about the world is balancing itself, everything in this energy is balancing itself. Well, I've said before, and especially right now, the focus is on relationships, but it doesn't just mean it has to be your partnership or your spousal relationship or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, um, or or with your kids or anything. But what's your relationship with yourself? What's your relationship with the world, with the community, with the other people in traffic with you, with the person that you're buying your groceries from? What is that relationship like? Who do you spit your anger out on? And do you hold it all in and spit it out to yourself? Do you bring it back to
yeah,
yourself? So take these opportunities, because what we are doing inside ourselves, think about everyone in the world. And we're all here with a very like-minded energy that is we want more love and peace in our lives, more comfort in our lives. We want to live in a higher vibrational energy because we can, and because living the way that things have been or what we have experienced before is no longer, we know it's no longer good for us. And we want better for ourselves, for our children, for other generations. So when we understand that everything is connected, so a lot of people be like, well, what could I do? So what, like my prayers or what I do, is that really going to do anything? Well, yes. Yes, it is. And it starts inside you. And you have more power than what you could ever understand, because a lot of times we don't always see where all these prayers and all this energy goes to.
mhm,
We don't see it. But think about each one of us being able to really look at, if my thought is today is going to be all about peace. So choose something when you wake up in the morning. Peace. I want peace. So when you see things on the news, if you watch the news, if you, like, whatever is in your mind, whatever is happening in the world, if it's affecting you or not, but choose peace, choose love, choose something each day, and then look for that. Be that.
yeah.
Be an example of that.
And that's a vibration. So that's sending that vibration out to the world too. So
Yes,
not only are you improving your circumstances because you're seeking peace and you'll feel peace, but you're sending peace out into the world. So that will help other people. And the more people that
that's right.
start doing that, then the more peace there will be. So,
And when we energize those vibrations, when we all are putting energy into the upliftment, the people that, like, it's like a domino effect with energy, right?
mhm,
And it mirrors out, because again, we are all connected. So when this happens, we don't know that there may be somebody that is able to, I'm trying to get this out because I'm seeing it in my head, but somebody that is able to physically do something, or there's changes that end up being made. We don't know who the next leader could be that's a child around us, or, like, think of all the
mhm,
things that we don't know. So you
mhm,
have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. Each one of us has a responsibility in this world to what we are putting out from within
mhm,
us, because we never know where that energy is going to and who that's going to support to rise up and, make a difference, because we're all part of that. It doesn't matter which part of it you are, it's all equally as important,
mhm,
because we all have a piece in the healing of our collective, the healing of this world. And to me, there is nothing more important than that, because everything comes from that within us. So the healing in our relationships, in our family, and everything, it all comes from that energy and keeps spreading outwards. So it is it's a big responsibility when we have more and more awareness. It is, but we're all here and together for a reason, because we all have the ability to be able to contribute, and we're each we're each, I think, going through a lot of layers of finding more truth. Um, seeing things that maybe we don't always like to see, but awareness and truth dissolves fear. It's
Yeah.
having truth is, you know, that's that awareness starts to dissipate because fear often comes from all the unknowns,
Hmm.
right? It's a biggie. It's a big
But
one.
I don't know. I like feel the energy of it and it feels really good. Like I
Yeah.
feel so peaceful right now
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
relaxed and calm and, so
We have a lot of
working.
spiritual support today. Maren and I both are feeling a lot of souls step in and support us in this conversation. And you know, I think it's really important that we have this conversation today, and you know, really put the power in ourselves with everything.
Hmm.
You know, we don't live in the material world. We're not of the material world. We are experiencing it. We are not of it. And when we
Hmm.
understand that that is a reflection, then we're able to continuously rejuvenate ourselves and bring that love back out. And that's the beauty of this whole journey is really changing our own vibration and then experiencing how that changes the world around us. And that's why Eric had always said to me, it's not really the destination, Michelle. It's not really about getting to the destinations. It's the experiences and the journey that you're on and the fulfillment that's given when we're able to continuously hold that energy of love and peace and hope, because that's the biggest thing too. My choice in everything is I can choose to fear, I can choose to worry, I could choose to stress, I could choose to control everything so that I can say, okay, this is going to happen and there's a very small chance of this happening. Or I can choose hope. I can say, what's the best that can happen? Universe, show me the best thing that can happen. And I can put energy into that. And that's what's going to give me a better experience. And the goals are like kind of like cherries on the sundae. You know, the goals are like, woo, wow, that's great. Like, look what I did. This is fantastic. But then that becomes bigger and bigger. We just keep growing from
Hmm.
that. It does feel a lot more peaceful, doesn't it?
It
I do
does.
feel that.
It's
I almost feel like I
incredible.
could go to sleep. Not that, I mean, it
I
is early, but
know. Yeah, I know. It's such a peaceful feeling. It's so empowering in such a calm and grounded way.
hmm
Like,
hmm
but just having a perspective and not forgetting about what's going on too. Hold
yeah,
them in your hearts, hold them in your mind. They need your support, they need your peace, they need your love. But be intentional and know that every action that you put forward is helping of peace and love is helping um, the cause for
that's right.
both sides to
That's right.
you know to
Absolutely
feel
right.
safe, right? Because that's what I said. I just feel so bad that they don't feel safe, that there is not safety to live there and be there. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, we've talked about doing a live, and I think that we will be doing something, maybe a live meditation or a live
that's a great idea.
energy of peace, something like that would be nice on
Yeah.
one Monday at our seven
Yeah.
o'clock slot. That we'll do that.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
we'll just have to plan something up in our schedule, and we'll open up some space to do that because I think that would be a really beautiful thing to put all of our energy together and to direct that into the places that need it the most right now. Yeah.
We are the world, right?
We are the world. That's what Eric was singing earlier. He's like, we are the world. We are the children. Thank you, Cerritos.
Yes, I would love that.
Well, I guess on that note, Maren, I guess that's it for today, huh?
That's it. Yes. Such a weird, I don't know. It's such a weird, complex emotional feeling. Like
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
feel peaceful and excited and not excited, but peaceful and calm. And at
Yeah.
the same time, also sad. And it's just this
Yeah.
really solemn, yet,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
loving feeling. It's weird.
And guys, like everybody just hold on, 'cause I know so many of you are going through some challenges and we're all going through something right now in one way or another. And so hold on. And if you need prayers or, some support, there's so many fantastic people that we have in this community. So, just put a message and ask for prayers and that because we will do that. And like
Hmm.
let us all come together and support each other and build strength because we can all use it, all of us, including me.
Hmm.
I'll take prayers
And
too.
yeah, yes, I'm here. Um, and that's kind of why we created this too, is to create a
Yeah.
community where, with like-minded people and
Yeah.
that are just loving and caring and kind and want the best for each other. So
That's right.
please.
Yeah, that's right. That's why it is the heart. It's all about the heart, the purity of the
Hmm.
heart. And that's really what, um, that's our protection is the heart. That's where our safety is. That's where our love is, and that's where our power is as well. So just keep that in mind because each one of us have beautiful hearts.
Hmm.
Well, on that
Well,
note,
thank you, Michelle, so
you're
much.
welcome.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
And another, was it Mentorship Monday in the
Yeah, another
books?
Mentorship Monday in the books, and we will see you next week at the same bat time, same
Yes.
bat channel. Okay. Bye,
Yes.
everybody.
Bye.